Right, so welcome to a video. I played in this Modern Challenge last weekend and did okay, and I had some pretty cool games, cool matches. I didn't stream it because it didn't feel like a good opportunity that day. So I thought I could maybe um, still go over these games, looking at these replays. I don't think this format is very quite as interesting as actual live gameplay, but on the other hand, I felt maybe doing this I'd go into more detail and maybe I would see my plays in different light, and it could be a good learning experience for me and maybe for you as well. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and I'll have some timestamps for when the matches start, and maybe something else too. Who knows? If there is something particularly interesting happening somewhere here in the matches. So I haven't really prepared in any way for this. Let's just see how it went, because I can't remember. So here you have this first match. This was against humans. I was kind of busy doing eating and other things in the beginning of this game and the match. So I had some time deficit here, but my opponent mulliganed 5 on the play, and my hand was quite decent, quite functional. His wasn't, and even on a mulligan to 5, humans can be dangerous, but you can see they ran out of gas really fast, and what really made things easy for me was that I was able to turn these mana leaks into live cards, basically. If that wasn't the case, there could have been some trouble for me, because I didn't draw any super powerful cards. It was an interesting spot. On the last turn I had access to Snapcaster Terminates, and they were attacking with the Champion of Parish. I decided just to block, give flashback to terminate, but still just trade the Snapcaster with the Champion, because it was a clean 1-for-1 trade, and I valued having the single terminate here in my graveyard for future use, basically. Because I figured it's very likely that I am going to play Snapcaster into Collacan's command, returning the Snapcaster Mage to my hand, especially since I had these mana leaks in my hand. So for one, it's a good value play, of course. It uses my mana, and destroying this file means these mana leaks become live cards, which was quite crucial in this spot here. Because I'm still not out of it here. They could draw like riders, chaining riders, and I would be in trouble. Yeah, I guess that's the only interesting situation. So I turned down the immediate value of flashbacking the terminate, but I gave the upside of getting access to it once I returned the Snapcaster to my hand with the command. And it's obviously nice to have the terminate for a threat that Snapcaster can't trade with, like a Mind's Rider or I don't know, many things. Yeah. But for the most part, this was just humans mulliganing to 5 and me having a decent hand, a decent 7. is just... After this, that spot is just playing out, like... Getting to use Mana Leak against humans is very nice. It feels quite nice. So in the end, yeah. I drew the targets and I was able to raise them. That's how the game went. And they concede. Game 2, this was a tough game because I think I was busy doing something here, maybe eating. I guess, actually, yeah, never mind. We started at almost equal clocks here. But I do run into time travel here. And I'm particularly, for part, I'm just to play myself. Here I had the option of, yeah, I'm just looking for black lands here. I kept Visions Vault on the top, because I figured even if I don't find the black source immediately, it's good enough to chain Visions into Vault and, you know, get the 2 scries. And yeah, there was a very standard, like, decision. Just, you kind of want to deal with these freebooters. Like, you kind of have to deal with them immediately to free up your cards. This, again, they had a funky hand, 3 Hierox. It's kind of strong, but because I had this pyromancer with the elemental token, this jump blocker engine wasn't too bad. Here, this Taticaster really put me on a tight spot. So, yeah. 5 minutes of gun. We are deep in the game. I have the Ancestral coming here online. Still like 3 turns to go, so not feeling too good here. Here I had an interesting spot again, like, I'm obviously just, because they have these exalted creatures, it's clear that they are going to use only one attacker. So having just a single jump blocker means I basically get to buy 1 turn for myself. And I figured here, like, yeah, it feels really funny to push this Taticaster because it's not a threat in itself. You know, why not just push the attacker, like Collector or Lieutenant or whatever. But because of this situation, the fact that they will only be attacking with 1 creature in the immediate future, and I'm just basically trying to buy time to get to resolve this Ancestral, I figured I should actually just push this Taticaster, because also just because of the fact that dealing with this Taticaster means I kind of free up my Snapcasters in the future. If I draw a Snapcaster, I get to basically buy 1 turn with the removal spell that I give flashback to, and then I also gain 1 extra turn because I get the jump blocker with the body. So there was a lot of upside and not real downside in killing this Taticaster now. So that's what I went for. And you can see I had some thought here, like, usually I just, when I'm thinking hard about something, I just pass through the combat and then pause again on the second main phase. It's a funny habit, I guess. Yeah. And we got the draw, gonna want it. And here I have a pause. This meddling mage was on the stack, and I thought maybe I should play out this mage here, but it kind of made no sense because, sure, like, I could guarantee myself a resolve spell with Snapcaster if I go for the play, but like, I figured it's kind of obvious that they are going to name the Ancestral here, because naming Snapcaster in the dark is very low EV play, because I could easily just have command or bolt or push, so it makes more sense to use the public information that they have access to and just, you know, make a safe and also a strong name with the Ancestral. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, let's just wait and see what happens. Now this was here, the notch is just tightening. The noose is tightening around my neck. Like I'm at 9, they have lethals in play, and here I had a really long thought. I'm at 12 minutes, and I think once we go to the end step of his turn, it'll be shortened by 4 or 5 minutes. And this was a really interesting situation, like, what do I go for? Because it's obvious I need to top deck something decent here. I kind of want to make sure that I don't fall down to too low of a life total immediately, but I also want to make sure that I'm kind of able to resolve this Ancestral and not basically lose to this mage here. So I figured, like, my play is either to play Snapcaster and bolt the Rider and block the Collector, or then I can also just block the Collector and command, kill the mage, and return Snapcaster to my hand. And both plays have their upsides, and I wasn't quite sure about my play here. Like, what I did was kind of the more, I guess in vacuum, a safer line of just trying to protect the visions here. I played mage, blocked the Collector, and commanded the mage. I got free, so basically on the next turn I knew I was going to need, even if I when I had the mage, I knew I needed to top deck something here. It had to be a removal spell or cryptic command. And cryptic command was the reason I, well, yeah, went for this play, because if this maiden mage isn't on play, then I can just tap draw, go to my next turn, and then this Ancestral will be resolving. If I draw a removal spell of any sort, then going for command here this turn is worse, because I'm only going to take 3 more damage and there is no real upside in the play for me, because I'm guaranteed, like, I need to find removal on the next turn anyway, and having this free extra life could be a difference. Real yeah, could basically win me the game. Because then, yeah, I would be able to, let's say I draw Bolt or whatever. I guess a random removal spell isn't going to be enough, because let's say they don't have Collector and Rider, or Rider in play, I have a single removal spell. They can just, I'm at 6 life, they jam with everything, and I'm not able to deal with the mage, because then they would have 6 damage coming through. Then again, not having the mage in play would be better if, for example, I draw a command. So let's say, because of the line I went for, if I hadn't draw a command, I would just die, because my command, yeah, I would be at 3 life. They would have this Rider, this Lieutenant, and these attackers. So I can block the Lieutenant and deal with one Hierarch, but I just die to the Rider. So on average, I think it's kind of close, but maybe my play wasn't quite strong as simply playing mage and bolting the Rider, because I think they are more, yeah, I guess yeah. Like if I draw a random removal spell, doesn't matter. I lose. If I draw a cryptic, the line of Snapcaster command on this turn is better. If I draw a command, then Snapcaster Bolt is better. And if I draw a Snapcaster, then the line of Snapcaster Bolt is also better. I think that's how it goes, so I think playing Snapcaster Bolt here is slightly better, slightly stronger. Unless I have missed something, some kind of I don't know, some component of the situation, but who knows. We can just continue for now, I think. So yeah, I just lose a lot of clock, a lot of time here. But it was worth it, I think, in the end. And here I get a good top deck Snapcaster, but here I do feel sad that I didn't go for the Snapcaster Bolt, because in the end, because I was forced, I had to draw something off the top of my deck anyway, it made more sense to just, it would have made more sense just to, you know, go for the Bolt, because that way my top decks become better. There is the psychological trap of like wanting to have something in your hand, because it makes you feel like you aren't reliant on the top of the deck, even though you still are. And here this attack is a mistake by my opponent. They saw my hand, they should have just jumped attack with everything here. I would have been forced to jump the Lieutenant with my other Snapcaster, and they would have lost one hero, which is a fine trade in my opinion. I wouldn't be at 1 life. So this was a missed opportunity for them, and now I'm kind of not under a threat anymore, at least an immediate threat. I have a lot of cryptics, trap draws here coming, and yeah, I just need to find one anger, and things will basically just fall apart for my opponent. Here I had the option of going for Snapcaster Cryptic on the next turn as well, but I figured that's not really going to accomplish anything. Like, I could go for the Snapcaster Cryptic and be safe, but I think that would have just basically worsened my odds, because I still need to draw something. Like, I need to deal with these threats here somehow. And because I have the Terminate and the Snapcaster with access to Fatal Push, I felt it was a good turn to go for Visions and dig for the answers. And also just, you know, play out my creatures, play out some blockers here, and kind of what's the word, like equalize the position on the battlefield. And now I'm just very safe, like, yeah, even Mantis Trader isn't going to be lethal because I have this Terminate in my hand. And here, just kind of annoying top deck for them, but not the worst. And I felt it made sense to give them the push, and now they made no attack. And here you can see I'm losing a lot of time, like I'm drawing well now, I got the Bolt, despite the command to the top. I am definitely in trouble, and here I wasn't sure, I just made some quick maths. Felt that I need to play out the Snapcaster here, because they were going to land the Thalia, and here this attack was very, very fortunate for me, because it's not going to be lethal, and just like basically trading on the battlefield and just simplifying this situation was very beneficial for me, because I only had 6 minutes for the second game, and this was a very complicated board. So what, like it would have taken a lot of time for me to be able to attack through this, barring, you know, of course, drawing an anger of the gods at some point. And because I had the command on top of my deck, I was extremely like extra happy for this like decision that my opponent made. So this is just easy trading. I was like, I guess I should just like bolting the freebooter was not necessary, but I felt, you know, it was so likely that I would have been forced to do that anyway, so I just went for it. And here we go for the classic draw step command, discard, return Snapcaster. And at this point, you know, I'm kind of slightly afraid of the clock, but I felt that this game was now basically mine to lose with all these resources. But yeah, here, of course, I'm not out of it. I'm very restrained by my life total, and I still had a mountain to climb. It's 18 life. Of course, I can't complain at this point. And here I had to do a lot of digging still. So this game was definitely a longer one, so my deck is definitely thinking out here, and I am kind of just trying to find all the resources, all the cards in the entirety of my deck. And here, like, I had to trade a Terminate for a Sin Collector. Doesn't feel that awesome, like, and I still don't have my, like, I'm basically just looking for my third command here while trying to not lose the time, because, like, still my opponent is only I guess 2 Mantis Rider attacks away from killing me. And here, like, we enter some very frightening time situation, and like deciding how to play out this situation, it was very hectic, and yeah. Basically, I wanted to keep an answer for Mantis Rider at all the time. So basically, I just had to trade out my board there, and somehow we were almost equal, even though I had basically, like, I had gotten there already, but still I had to be very careful with how I played the situation. And definitely I was kind of worried because I didn't have that many cards, like actual cards left in my deck. I have already used my 2 commands, both pushes, 2 balls, so 9 cards left in the library. So I didn't have that many relevant cards in my deck anymore left at this point. So I had to make sure in this very like rush. I had to rush this place and still had to mind my deck composition. Here, like, again, terminating the Snapcaster is very odd, but that mage would have allowed them to attack with the mage. Sorry, Snapcaster would have allowed them to attack with the mage, because if I block, they just ping for the 3rd damage. And that's definitely what I didn't want to happen. And here I get to combine the Colcan's command damage and the Snapcaster damage on the Reflector mage. Again, I could just simplify the situation, simplify the board, and I'm finally just sealing the deal. And yeah, not a minute too late. I was very shaky at the end of this game. Alright, but in the end, we got the win. Yeah. I would have felt really bad for tripping that match due to the clock. So luckily, things went out well in the end. Yeah, like one lander, when the one lander is cryptic, target, it's always a mulligan in my books. And here we had a very interesting game one. Like, yeah, didn't see this one coming. And now the game is just over. I assumed that this chalice was on 0, and that is why I went for visions, but it wasn't. It was on 1, which was quite effective against this hand. So I just scooped and we went to game 2. This time, you know, we have the information, and we decided to play around Blood Moon. This hand is quite awkward because we have no way to fetch for an island, but this mana leak is definitely strong, and this Tarsiger is also very strong. So I definitely felt it was keep in the end. Here, like, my opponent used 3 cards for this Pianki run, and I traded for the 3 cards with this mana leak. So that went out well. And here I basically I had my shields down for 1 turn where they could resolve a Blood Moon, but on the exchange I was able to put the pyromancer in play, and if they went for Blood Moon there, I figured I can just win anyway. Like, I didn't have any way to like stop the Blood Moon if there was one coming anyway. So I felt that aggressively playing out the pyromancer there was definitely the strongest play. And I also felt that even if they had Blood Moon, I would be still favored to win this game anyway, because they had already like taken such a huge loss on this Pianki Ranala. And this is just well, let's say pyromancer is not a very strong card against this deck. As long as we are able to play out our spells. So the game went much nicer. And here this hand is kind of close, but I figured because I had the Remand and the Spell Snare, I would keep it, and also the Ancestral. Of course, this turn 1 Chalice for 1 was a massive loss for me, because now my hand actually almost shut down completely, but luckily I had both Remand. I drew the Remand on top of the mana leak here, and here something funny happened. I made a small punt. I had the mana leak, but I decided I don't want to mana leak this Rebel Master because I had the bolt in hand, so why not just bolt it? Well, the reason to not use the bolt is that there is a Chalice on 1, and I just missed that. Like, I already had crossed off these cards from my mind. I was thinking, yeah, I can play these, but when I drew the bolt, I was like, oh, we can play this. Kind of. I sweared very, very loudly. And here my opponent even denied trade with Snapcaster. I was definitely prepared to ambush Viper of this Rebel Master, but they didn't go for it, and I felt even worse. And I sweared. I cursed even more. Yeah, now this Ancestral is coming off. We have hope. Just need to find answers, and we got something. We got the command. I felt like there wasn't much reason to not go for it on my own main phase to prevent discarding to hand size. And here we had perfect follow up. This snare just, I don't know, showing its strength against the 2-drops. And my opponent is just like very in a very awkward spot. Again, they had to use the Spirit Guides to just resolve things. And now we are in a great spot. Like, 11 life isn't that high, but it's not that low either. We have a lot of spells, a lot of ways to trigger the pyromancer, and just need to get trades. I just need to get trades in with these goblins here. You know, stabilize the board and then just go on the offensive. Because in this game we have the Remand, Mana Leak backup, and now we have also Cryptic Command coming up. So basically, my opponent is like basically not able to resolve any meaningful threat in this whole game once we go past this turn. And here, yeah, matchups like these are the reason I definitely value having Mana Leak and Remand in the deck, even though they are kind of underwhelming in many matchups. They are absolutely amazing in others, and Modern is full of these random decks that just try to get you. And here I had another interesting spot. I had the opportunity to Cryptic or Mana Leak this Realm Monster away, but I figured actually we don't want to do that because we just, even though they get one extra Goblin this way, I just want to trade out these cards here. Like I want that my opponent isn't able to block with these goblins. So I want to force them to attack here, and this Realm Master is the perfect card for that. So I just let it stay in play for this attack, and then play out the Snapcaster Mage and bolt the Realm Master away. And this way, you have like, we are able to use the both pyromancer and Snapcaster on the offensive, and just kill the opponent faster. And now this again, it is basically over. So despite the Chalice lock and the Lightning Bolt screw up, I got the right cards for the right situation. And again, I think Pyromancer, one of the reasons I play this card is that this card is strong in these lockdown matchups. Like, it's good against Blood Moon, is good against Breach, you know, Ensnaring Breach. It's good against the Black Lee line, so it does many things well. Like, it fights through the common hate and lock cards of the format. So yeah, Pyromancer is just a great card. Yeah, like this hand was kind of borderline, but I figured it could be strong enough in many matchups, stronger than a 6 at least, and luckily I got paired against Jeskai in this round, so having all of these lands in my hand actually turned out to be a strength. And this game is definitely very long-winded, whatever. So we just, like, yeah, I suspend this Ancestral, which is nice, like, they don't have anything going on. I have this Ancestral. My hand is also, of course, pure crap, but we had got some time to resolve things here. But anyway, we just play a lot of land go, which is what I love. I love this land go action. My opponent missed a land drop. That was a very nice sign, very strong. Good thing for me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a counter to protect this Ancestral, so what happens now is very sad. They get to Cryptic, counter draw on my Ancestral, and then I draw the Remand. It was kind of unfortunate, but I mean, obviously it's nice to have Remand if the alternative is to not have anything. And this hand is obviously strong here, and yeah, because of the Cryptic on my Ancestral, I felt, okay, I need to be aggressive in this game. Also because the board on my face, I figured, yeah, let's just play my things out. I have both Snare and Remand. I have the best protection here. I had the line of going for command and returning Tasuku into my hand. Oh, Snapcaster. Actually, yeah, I also wondered or thought about whether I want to return Tasuku or Snapcaster. In the end, I figured I want to return Snapcaster, because having two Snapcasters in play is already strong, and committing the Tasuku into play would be too much, in case they have a Wrath. then I would be just on nothing basically, and getting access to Remand Flashback is also very strong. But yeah, what happens here is very nice. Like, I get to recoup from the card draw I lost. The card draw they gained, so I get to remand my Snapcaster, which is definitely the play you want to do every time you get a chance to. Yeah, I'm still drawing lands, which is decent. At this point it's not great, but it's decent. Actually, never mind. It's not good because here this Tron cannot fetch anything. Luckily, yeah, I went for the... Because they had shields down, I decided, yeah, let's just get the value here. Let's get the discard return Snapcaster value immediately. And this pressure forced them to graph my board, which is nice. And again, we get some good exchanges here. I'm going for main phase Sharing Resonance. They call legitimate, and again, they don't have backup for this knot. And again, I get to remand my Snapcaster from under this counterspell, and this is, of course, excellent. And drawing the second remand is even more excellent. So, yeah, things definitely turn out quite well for me in the end, even despite the awkward start. But of course, I am only on 6 life. They have the colonnade, so I need to be very careful here. I definitely need to put the pressure on. And here, like, because they didn't have any counter backup in the past turns for these crucial conjunctions, crucial plays, I figured, yeah, I just want to aggressively counter this Electrolyze, because the difference between 6 and 4 life is quite meaningful against this colonnade. And also, just like this way, I get to put the Snapcaster into play. I get the value out of it, so I get to dig deeper into my deck, and I stop them from digging deeper into their deck. Obviously, like, denying the card draw is very relevant here, because they are only like one bolt, one Snapcaster away from killing me, even without a colonnade. So it's like kind of a shields down moment, almost, even though I had this backup here. Yeah, remand, again, excellent card. Here, my opponent has this nice line of fielding the black source away, and they get basically a free swing with the colonnade. Luckily, they had to tap out all of their red sources for this, so I'm just going to die to this play. And here, I have no counters, so I need to top deck something, and I do. We got the bolt for lethal. So this, in the end, it turned out to be a damage race, as it usually does. And then we win. No paths, no anything. Very exciting game. Oh yeah, I figured I should maybe talk about the sideboarding as well. So my play option, my decision here was to, yeah, I bring in 2 dispels, 1 duress, and 2 spell bombs and 2 fulminator mages, and I cut out almost all the removal spells. Oh, let's not skip through this. Yes, I definitely value the bolt the highest, because it's a cheap answer to Click, which is a threatening card in this matchup, and it can deal with planeswalkers. I think having access to cards like Duress and Fulminator Mage and Spellbomb is very nice, because they like do such unique things, and I am capable of answering the cards like Snapcaster and Click and Planeswalkers in other ways than using like these removal spells. Of course, plan A is to counter whatever they play, and if they do get rid of something, then definitely Command and Bolt are the best ways to answer, because they are so like multifunctional cards. Here we had anyway, They had a great exchange. I turn 1 to rest them, got the negate out of their hand, and so yeah, they have Path, Stroke, Plane, Snapcaster, which is basically nothing. Then on the they play their second land. I jam this pyromancer because I know they don't have an answer for it, especially with this mana. So basically they are forced to path this pyromancer on my end step, which is exactly what I wanted. Like getting through rampier mana in control matchup this early is a massive advantage. So I was definitely feeling extremely strong after this exchange. And on their turn 3 they miss the land drop. I don't, so yeah, we are doing fine. Yeah, I had the option of going for Snapcaster Duress, but since they didn't have anything too important in their hand, I didn't go for it. Yeah, we just... I definitely like having this mage here, because just like... Yeah, having this kind of mana advantage is very, very strong, obviously, in the control matchups. And this mage is a guarantee that they will not be able to get from under this pressure. Of course, here I'm trying to make sure with this Snapcaster Mage into Visions play, I'm just trying to make sure that I hit my own land drops, because yeah, otherwise there is no advantage for me. Of course, I need to... Yeah, there is no value in destroying their lands if I can't hit my own land drops. Luckily here again, they hadn't drawn any real answer, so I just get to resolve this mage without any threat. And yeah, like, of course, tapping out on your main phase, tapping 3 mana with the intent of protecting the mage with a remand or leak is kind of dangerous, because then they get the chance to resolve something on their own turn, obviously. So there is a small danger, but because I had this cryptic and these counters here, I figured, I put them to 4 mana, so they are very, very unlikely to get a Teferi in play. Even if they do, I have this target, and the Snapcaster Mage, and the Duress, and the command. Yeah, like, I knew they had Snapcaster Mage and Stroke here. So even if they have a counter of the Mage, and no, actually, never mind. What I said is true, but my intent actually was to allow, not to put my shields down, which would have been fine, but even better play is just allow the trade of counter for mage, and then my plan was that I can go for command, returning the mage and putting them to discard a card on one of their end steps. And here I still had my shields up for chase, which is probably a stronger play. But yeah, in the end we got to resolve the mage, which is excellent, and like something insane happened. Like, we went to attack with the Snapcaster Mage, and they actually just decided to Snapcaster path the Snapcaster, and I had no intent of like stopping them from doing that, because like getting even more mana in this spot with this hand seemed like an awesome thing. So at this point my opponent has ramped me twice with the path, and I couldn't be happier. Yeah, I just want to deny this. Deny their 2-for-1. And we have both mana advantage, and we also have the card advantage, so making 1-for-1 trades isn't bad for me. So even if they had, like, they basically needed a Dispel to turn the situation into a 3-for-2. If they had a leak or not, it would have been just 2-for-2, or sorry, 1-for-1. so definitely no danger. And here we have a more small shields down situation. But again, I felt that just like making the trade, using my mana on this mage was so strong, I figured I should go for it. And this target is definitely like a factor in this situation, because even if they get to resolve a threat, I still have this target which can pressure the Planeswalker, and because I have so much more mana, I can do the attacking while keeping, like, having access to these cards. And here just again, we were winning so hard, and now when we go for the cryptic here, counter bounce, our opponent also sees that they are losing very hard, so it's just a scoop. Yeah, this hand is quite again borderline, but I figured I'm able to play Thought Scour, and if nothing else, Snapcaster, Flashback Thought Scour, at which point I should be able to find the mana, the black and red sources for these cards. Of course, nothing ended up mattering here because they had the turn 3 Tron, and I mean, we play out this game, we played out, but there is really nothing I can do to stop them from winning. So I just wanted to make sure that I am dead, and indeed I was dead. They got the second Ulamog with the Sanctum trigger, and I scoop. Here we have a quite strong hand. We have double Thought Scour with the Surgical in hand, the combo. Also Remand in case something funky happens, and basically we get to Surgical the tower, even get one from their hand, and at this point winning becomes a lot easier. My opponent's deck only has this one Ballista and then 2 Thought Spheres, so I don't have to worry about them aggroing me out here too much, because here they have no play. They cannot resolve Ballista because they don't have one, so I just make this trade here. I want to get this spread out of the board. I don't want it to run out of hand. And here I had a thought, like, I wasn't sure if I want to use my Surgical or not, but I figured Relic is the next best card they could have. It's the one card that could turn this game around in this spot, so I decided to Surgical those away. And here, just trying to find some pressure, find some more mages or commands, and we do find them. So at this point, I guess the game is almost over, because we have both Remand and Cryptic. So resolving something like Thought isn't even threatening me. Yeah, so we get to just basically counter everything, and yeah, there is really nothing to see here. Oh, I guess the sideboarding. Yeah. In these matchups, I just bring out, or take out all of the removal spells except for one Terminate, because they always have, like, basically it works well with my sideboard plan, and it's not very nice to have a clean answer for Thought Spheres and potential Ballistas and Thragtusks. Like, there is no easy way to answer Thragtusk, but like, you need something sometimes. But Thought Sphere is the biggest concern, definitely. And yeah, what I bring in is kind of obvious. It's the 3 mages, 2 Surgicals, 1 protection, and then maybe something which I forget. Yeah, 3 mages, 2 Surgicals, No, one, yeah, that's 6 for 6 cards. And here again, I get to counter everything. My only fear is this World Breaker. I don't want them to be able to cast this, because then things might become trickier for me. But luckily there is no danger. We just yeah, counter this Khan and return the Mage and play it and destroy the Course Quarter. And this is again just trivial, the double protection of Mana Leak and Remand. Now this, yeah, I'm only going to 5. I don't find. Actually, we'll just look over the hands. It's actually see how they look like. Again, this is a very borderline hand. Like against Tron, you definitely want to mulligan aggressively for the sideboard cards because you cannot win without them basically ever. But these hands are very tricky. Like here, I have double Serum Visions and Thought Scour, so I'm able to dig very deep into my deck. Like we see with the Visions and the Thought Scour, depending on how you see it, we get to see between 7 to 9 cards, which is basically like an opener. So on the play, I think this might be a good keep, because on the play you have more time to resolve this. You actually have time to resolve all of these cantrips to find the turn 3 Fulminator Mage or the Surgical if you hit with the Scour. On the draw, I think this hand is not strong enough, because if they have turn 3 Tron, then there is no way this hand functions, because you do need to resolve these cantrips, and that means you are not able to have a counter on turn 2, and even just like you want higher. If you make the concession that okay, we are kind of slower in this game tree, then at least you want to be guaranteed that you do find the Fulminator on turn 3. So in the end, I felt this hand isn't strong enough, so we mulligan, and this hand is just non-functional, so we mulligan again, and we find something that is bad, basically. But the good thing is we found land, but yeah, here there is not much light in the tunnel for us. Like they even have the relic, which is basically shuts off the surgical plays. So I'm just hoping that this spell snare would get them. Like my hope was that they have a hand that is dependent on resolving Summon Scrying, but that was not the case. So basically I'm fucked. And they have the naturals, so there's really nothing to do here. We get to hang on for a couple of turns. And here actually, like we we are almost able to disrupt the Tron, but not quite, because they had the map in play. So even if I draw a land here, and they get to destroy one of these, they can just, in response, crack them up, offload the mana and then crack them up, and get the Tron piece again. Yeah, there is nothing to do. At this point, my only lifeline is that they don't have a threat. But I guess, yeah, we already remanded the Thought-Knot here, so even if they have nothing else than the Thought-Knot, it would be tough to win. But after the Surgical, we saw they had Worm Coils, so Ice Group. So sometimes you lose a Tron, sometimes you do win. But this time, my game 3 hand wasn't definitely wasn't strong enough to get there. Yeah, we have a solid hand. Again, 3 non-lands. 4 lands is kind of on the land heavy side, but again I think it's stronger than the average 6. And here it looks like opponent is on either Chant or Mardu, so I wasn't too sad about this hand. At this point, we see they are on Mardu, and they definitely have a very discard heavy start. So basically, I have no decisions to make here. I'm just basically waiting for my opponent to play a threat that I can answer, and that's all. So this is just basically, again, land go. They play discard spells, I play lands. And here in my vision, actually I missed that. I guess one top, one bottom. Let's see what I drew. Maybe it was Snapcaster or Cryptic. One of the two. Or maybe it was Serum Visions. I can't remember. Yeah, it's another Visions. Again, it's clear that my opponent kept his hand on the back of a Battle Reveler. So here we trade the final cards, and they get to resolve the Reveler. I think I topped our Cryptic with the Visions, second Visions here. So I'm still in it, but only by slightest of margins. For some reason, Mardu stopped there to think. Not sure what. And yeah, here again I fetched for the basics in order to play around Blood Moon. So I was feeling like decent because there was nothing that could destroy me immediately. And here they had an excellent draw. Our card that they found with the Reveler plus looting plus the natural draw step, but we get a Cryptic and we find another excellent card. And we are going to have 6 mana on the next turn, so again we are just safe from everything. And here I decided to play out the Tron. And again they drew quite nicely, but we have the perfect answer. So even despite the strong start and the basically ideal Reveler, after playing all of those discard spells, we like we get to draw well, let's say. We get to recoup from the fight back on the card advantage front. And I guess we are already on, now we are on even footing. Like they got a 3-for-1, we got two 2-for-1s. Yeah. Somehow very slow. Maybe Mardu is slowing down here or something. Anyway, yeah, I'm just looking to trade my Snapcaster or 2 Snapcasters for the Reveler. So here I go for block. No, sorry, yeah, I'm looking for the command here. So they don't have anything to trigger this Reveler, and we go for return and kill play here. At this point, after drawing the third Snapcaster, it's just like trivial to win. Especially since like, yeah, they have already drawn 3 of the 4 Revelers. So I'm kind of, I can just stop playing around the Reveler here at this point, almost. Yeah. Physical activations gives me terminate, so it's GG. Oh, I forgot to go through. Oh no, yeah, let's just look at the sideboard again. Here I take out the pushes because they only have 4 targets at maximum. They only kill the pyromancer. In other cases, bolt and terminate are better because, of course, bolt is just, it does many things. It does like, it's multifunctional. Terminate kills the Reveler cleanly, and you can combine bolt and command to kill a Reveler as well. Also, bolt deals with planeswalkers, and definitely, since I'm bringing in 2 angers, the ancient explosives and the Staticaster, I don't. Basically, I'm already kind of loaded on answers to pyromancer, so I can easily take out these pushes for the cards. And definitely my main focus is to have the ability to answer tokens here with Anger and Staticaster, Lingering Souls and and the pyromancer that has already gotten out of control are the major threats in this matchup. And here I'm trying out, this is one of the very rare matchups where I think starting out the pyromancer is probably correct, because we are bringing in 2 angers, and also Staticaster might become awkward, you know, because targeting their pyromancer means ours dies as well. And also for the fact that this Mardu deck has a lot of ways to kill 1 toughness creatures. So they have their commands of their own. They might play Liliana, the Last Hope, etc. And yeah, what we're bringing is 2 angers, EE, Staticaster, and then 2 spell bombs. It's just a very nice way to, the spell bomb is a very nice way to slow down the Reveler, almost shutting it down. And sometimes you might get Lingering Souls, flashback, prevent the flashback. Yeah, this is what we bought out. 2 romance, 1 mana leak. These cards are nice answers to a turn 3 plays like Blood Moon and Liliana, but in general I value the more high impact cards like Ancestral Vision and Cryptic higher. Especially Cryptic because sometimes these decks have Lelines, the black Lelines in the sideboard, and they are basically must answers. We need to be able to bounce them. So you're gonna have to make a choice. Either you stay very lean and basically are more likely to have answers for turn 3 Blood Moons and turn 3 Lilianas, or then you give up you kind of make yourself weaker in the early game, but then you gain the ability to answer Lelines, and also ability to bounce random Lilianas as well. Of course, Cryptic has the downside that it's kind of weak against Blood Moon as well, but I have played this matchup like enough many times that I feel quite confident in my decision in the sideboarding plan. I think Cryptic is the card you want. I think you disregard Blood Moon. Of course you try to play around it, you want to fetch basics, you want to just be mindful of your engine explosives, like maybe you don't want to use the EE to answer random tokens unless you absolutely want to, unless it's very beneficial to do that. And I think having the ability to bounce Lelines, the back Lelines, back to their hand is more important than being strong against Blood Moon. Here they mulligan to 6, very nice, and this hand is again very nice. We have answers, we have 3 strong cards called Command, Sassika and Snapcaster, are all very strong against discard spells. And here I kind of go for the proc. If they have a Liliana here, it would mean trouble, like they would get a very good 2-for-1. That's not the case, they only have Lingering Souls, and turns out my turn 2 Toxica is the perfect answer to this go wide strategy. So I have the EE here, in case something funky happens. If they had gone for example, the Lingering Souls flashback, I had the option to explosives. Instead they just go for the Rebel Master. And here for some reason Modo is just taking a lot of time. Kind of slowing down. Yeah, whatever. Just yeah. Bolt Rebel Master and then do nothing. Again, this EE is very important. It's a very very important card, very key card in this matchup. So you want to just not play it out unless there is some very strong value, very big upside in doing it. And here I'm just again playing around the Blood Moon. And now I'm feeling very strong, like they miss land drop. They are very far away from resolving a Reveler. And Reveler is probably the reason they didn't go for the Lingering Souls flashback. And here this command is again not too bad for me. They return the Rebel Master back to hand, but I have a very clean answer to the Rebel Master, and they decide to not go for it. They just see the threat of like clean 1-for-1 answer against Rollmaster, and instead they go for the flashback. Just to buy time, I guess. But here, I think we have to run out. And this is the kind of spot where I felt that I can play the E because I feel I can like I feel that I can like go heavy on the Sasuke beatdown plan because I have a spell snare for terminate and I have a command return Sasuke back to my hand, and I also have some custom mage into bolt in case they have Liliana. So really I have no way to lose Sasuke permanently. So just like, you know, putting the pedal to the middle, that right, and here we just have a pitfall. So kind of awkward hand for them and a strong hand for us. That's how Magic goes sometimes. Here we have playing against the blue deck. So I'm feeling quite confident about my hand. Getting to suspend the Ancestral and having these cantrips and the Mana Leak in hand is exactly what you want. Damn, I think I want to use this. So here we see they are on a Saheeli combo plan, and I'm feeling very, very annoyed because this deck it looks horrible on paper, but it's actually very, very tough in reality. I have had some very, very, I don't know what's the word, very annoying losses against this deck in the past, so I know to respect the Felidar Guardian. Here I had the option to remand this Felidar, which might have been correct, but because I have this Tolskawa and the Terminate, I figured I just draw into my 4th land and terminate this Guardian, and you know, rather have this remand for another Saheeli or Chase or something. Unfortunately we didn't draw the land, so instead, yeah, just squite the 4th land on top of the deck and played it out. Yeah, again, I feel like you need to terminate these Guardians like whenever you have the option to. At this time, keeping the remand up did feel like the stronger play. Yeah, again, I had the option to remand this, but I figured I should keep it in hand for the future, because I have both push and terminate, and so here I had a very clean answer to the 2nd Guardian with a push. Because of course, like, if I went for a remand there, I would be forced to crack my fetch, and that would rob me of the ability to push one of the Guardians. Of course, like, remanding the Guardian and then hoping to draw a fetch land with my remand draw and Ancestral and the draw for the turn, it was a higher EV play, but I decided I can play safely, so that's what I felt. And here we just terminate the Guardian and remand for the flashback visions. So feeling strong. We are at 12, which is very dangerous life total against this deck. It's Jeskai Saheeli deck. So again, I just giving full respect to the deck. You know, I don't want to die foolishly, so I'm just playing out my cards aggressively here because I'm ahead. But now this is where things start to go wrong for me. They have the remand on the Snapcaster. Again, this is not what you want to happen. Here's the last thing you want to happen. And yeah, here just we are not able to pressure the opponent, but I feel like my hand is strong, so I can just like sit back and play it out. Here, I figured like fighting over this Guardian is not worth it, because if they have Cryptic on my Cryptic, that's basically game winning for them. So instead I just let resolve, let them get the basically 2-for-1, depending on whether you count the Guardian as a card or not. I tend to think it does count as a card because yeah, you need to terminate these guardians because like it's very dangerous to like allow the opponent to combo off with just a resolved Saheeli, because then you are kind of really you're in a tough spot basically, because then you are forced to keep so much mana open to be safe from the combo. And here we have a very crucial moment. Like again, I get to make good trades. They are on 2 cards, but this deck is very, very resilient. So again, they get 2 for 1, and follow-up visions, and a follow-up visions. So again, we are almost on even footing. And this guardian is surprisingly annoying. Here we are obviously forced to fight. I decided to go for the bolt plan on this Saheeli, but sadly they played it safe, made a good play, and went to plus the Saheeli, denying me the clean 1-for-1 answer. And this remand was again crippling. I wasn't able to deal with the Guardian, and they had the Saheeli in play. So here I'm just figured out I need to just get rid of this wall. I need to give them the 2-for-1 so that I can pressure the Saheeli. Again, they had a great counter for that. They had the bolt on my Snapcaster, and then they went for the combo. I had the bolt. So again, I'm staying alive, but these interactions are just barely good for me. And here, again, we had the answer. It's not clear who is winning. Both have 1 card in hand, and this Guardian is a complete brick wall in this spot. I have the option to go for Cryptic Bounce on my Snapcaster, which I do. And this is obviously a must answer. And there is no option to like play around counters, we just have to obviously answer this. Red was a nice play, but again, it's very close. This Colonnade is lethal. With 1 swing, I decided to go for a guaranteed value of discarding the Teferi and getting Snapcaster back. Again, feeling strong, but just barely not dead. And here, sadly, yeah, I didn't have access to black mana anymore because of these Spreading Seas. So once I cast the command, my only option was to go for a bolt, Snapcaster Bolt on the Colonnade. So in the end, they did have the answer to my bolt, and that's that. So actually very frustrating game. I felt I was ahead on so many occasions, but again, this deck is so sticky, hard to answer, hard to deal with. And I lost, what, 13.5 minutes from my clock. So I wasn't the happiest after that game one. So now we just start to play really fast, and this hand isn't very promising. Like, I think it's decent. It has I got the 2 visions, so I'm almost guaranteed to hit my land drops, but it's full of answers. Bolt, terminate. These are not the cards that like allow you to progress your own game plan, and I definitely do value just putting a clock in play against this deck. Oh, about sideboarding again. I think I sideboard. No, this is I cannot sideboard as I do against like regular Jeskai. So here I just keep in all terminates, all 3 terminates, and 1 bolt. And because of that, I cannot bring in my 2 cell bombs. Yeah, that's how it goes. Also, I only have 1 mage in, so basically, instead of 2 spell bombs and the second mage, I have the 3 terminates in. It kind of makes sense to cut the mage because I have the terminates, and they can answer the colonnades. So these mages are not quite as crucial. And here we get to see quite a weak hand. It's very clunky. And I didn't feel like I need to take the path away. Again, sometimes path can be strong, but sometimes it's just a ground spell for you, and that's not too bad. And here, because they didn't have much going on, I just go aggressively for the Snapcaster play. Like, they have slow hand. These Saheelis are not going to do anything if they play one, because I have the Tarpit and the Snapcaster to deal away with them, or deal with them immediately. And again, just here I have the opportunity to be aggressive and just really put my opponent on a tight spot. And this Snapcaster trade was definitely beneficial for me. I exactly wanted this to happen because this turned my commander on. I was like kind of thinking about whether to attack or not. I wasn't sure if my opponent would block, but I felt that I should still go for it. Go for the attack. And again here I'm just trying to progress my own game plan. Again, I have the duress here, but I know they don't have anything good to duress. And I almost feel like rewarded. I'm getting rewarded by the path on my Snapcaster. Because even this late in the mid game, I think like getting the 1 extra land from path is very, very strong. And now just they definitely don't have much going on. They have 1 Saheeli and 1 Guardian and 2 unknowns. I have a massive mana advantage here. So I'm definitely here. This is kind of awkward. I didn't have the answer to Saheeli. Of course, I have the ability to deal with Saheeli with my Tarpit. So I'm just combining the board and the Tarpit. And here I made a small mistake. They played Saheeli, and instead of going for the plus immediately, they fetched. So I had the chance to bolt the Saheeli in response. I had the chance to answer it cleanly, 1 for 1, but sadly I missed it because it was kind of a misplay on their part. Yeah, I got a second path, and I decided that it's worth it to fight over it with Dispel, because they have the Guardian in hand, and because I was ahead, I thought that aggressively trading cards is decent. Here we just go for. Again, I know they have a Guardian in hand, so basically they have no way to protect the chase. So we just get a clean 2 for 1 with the chase, with the Snapcaster Mage, and then we can attack the chase for 5, and still have the Mana Leak and the Spell Snare and the Terminate on their turn. And this is basically a spot where the game has been won. Again, nice, but I only have 6 minutes on my clock. So I try to play it really fast here, because 6 minutes is not a very good yeah, not enough time to really just play loosely. Not enough time to just enjoy yourself. You really gotta fasten your play. And yeah, here it's nice that the opponent doesn't have many cards in hand, since we traded aggressively 1 for 1, so I can just make relatively fast decisions. Again, nice 1 for 1. So this allows me to play fast and preserve at least some of the time I have in my clock. And here I valued the double cryptic higher than the path, and yeah, here, funny sequence, they try to path, I choose counterbounce. They try to bolt and I get to counter draw. So this is an excellent sequence for me. Of course I lose some tempo, but I gain huge card advantage, and at this point there is definitely nothing that can hurt me. So we just go for end step Snapcaster Mages here. Not sure if I go for lethal, I can't quite remember. Oh, we have the command here, so this makes sense. It's just, yeah, again, an obvious advantage here. Still kind of trying to play it safe. I went for discard instead of damage, and brought back the Tasiga. But there is nothing to see here anymore. Just I try to play fast and get the lethals. On game 3, I'm under extreme time pressure, even though I have cut some of the distance between me and my opponent, but I didn't change anything in my sideboarding, because I think you need to respect the threats. You still want the good anti-control cards, even if you have only 4 minutes in your clock. And here, because of the time situation, I trade very aggressively here. Like, Spell Snare is one of the best cards in the matchup. I guess it's one of the best cards in any control matchup, but since I had so little time, I just figured, yeah, let's just trade aggressively. This wall of omens blocks my Snapcasters anyway, and like, just when both players have less cards in hand, it tends to make things easier for you. It makes it easier to play fast, because you have less things to like worry about, less things to calculate. Again here, we got to trade 1 for 1 with the Saheeli, with the League, and here we get to trade again. So this game is going quite nicely for me. I still need a threat, but I have the Snapcaster Mage in my graveyard, and instead of like going for main phase, where it was guaranteed to resolve, I instead went for the opponent's end step command, or basically, I guess this time, main phase in response to Wall of Omens, but I felt that I want to keep the 4-mana open, because that makes it harder for my opponent to try to resolve something like Chase. Like, I didn't have the answer for Chase there, but I think having 4-mana open makes it impossible for my opponent to like go for it. Yeah, this is a play I would normally do. Normally I would just allow the path, because ramping yourself in the control matchups is very strong, but because of the time situation, I figured I do want to trade this display here for the path. I want to make the 2-for-1 into a 1-for-1 for the guaranteed tempo advantage. And again here, this feels very awkward, but I deny. I turned down the offer of 2-for-1, and I instead went for the 1-for-1 play with the second dispel. On the offset, I did get to activate the Tasiga. I did get to return this command back to my hand, and now things become easier. Here I'm able to just ignore the resistant piece. My hand doesn't really use my graveyard, so even though this resistant piece resolves because of dispel backup, I'm not feeling too sad. Like, I think here I kind of got where I wanted to in this game. I have threats in play, we have traded cards, they only have 3 cards in hand, 3 lands, so they cannot make any strong combinations at this point. I have the target in play as well, and I'm able to just like go to combat, attack, and just pass through my turn very fast. And here I had the cryptic backup for whatever really, But I decided that I just want to, again, put more pressure with the main phase command. And here we have a very nice, very beautiful win with the cryptic tap draw. And this was simply one of the highlights of the challenge, like winning this game in just 4 minutes was very, very, very nice feeling. Especially after that very grueling game 1. And here we are the round 7. This is a win and in for top 8. Only 1, 5 and 2. I knew, I checked in beforehand that only 1, 5 and 2 would go to top 8, so I knew I need to win here. And we have a very unusual pairing in mono blue Tron. So this hand would have been absolutely amazing against something like humans, with a turn 1 ancestral and then all of these removal spells, but sadly it's not humans, it's just stupid Tron. And this one remand is hardly a, like, it's nice to have the remand, but you know, one remand is not enough to win this matchup or this game. Here I just go aggressively for cryptic. This deck is kind of you know, it doesn't play steerings, so it's less likely to find the pieces it needs. And I think like Thirst is a very key card for them. So usually I try to trade for the Thirst whenever I can. But yeah, I almost thought that I was going to have it here, but I had a choice for 0 to counter this Ancestral, and now we are again back to just losing extremely hard. My hand is just full of blanks. They resolve a Blown engine here. Oh sorry, no, they got the map. So nothing yet. Again here, they got Tron. I managed to draw the Snapcaster. But still, I'm basically on nothing at this point. And here I make an aggressive play of trying to counter this Thirst, because it's obvious they are only missing the threats. They are only missing Vermcoil or Ulamog to win the game. So I figured I need to be aggressive and try to like put a threat in play, stick a threat in play, and deny them from finding their own. But here the game was basically over. I have no black sources left. No way to deal with this Titan, so I just scoop it up. Yeah, this hand is again kind of funny, but I figured it was a good keep anyway, because we are only 1 black source away from just crushing them. Well, that didn't happen. Instead we drew 3 commands, and the black source came in too late, and they have a Tron, so that's not too bad, not too good. Luckily, again, Monopro, this is the weakness of the deck, the Monopro Tron. Sometimes they just like don't get the good cards. This hand was entirely dependent on the 1 Thirst, and since I got to the rest of the Thirst away, I gained a huge amount of time. So now I just had to basically fight through these remands and these spatial contortions. Sadly, my hand is also very clunky, so I was kind of on the edge of my seat, just like praying that they wouldn't throw anything too strong. I have the runes here, anti-contortion. And this is just a very, very grindy game. Now they have 2 unknowns. Our hand is also very nice, of course. We have Dusika with counter backup, but this ruins is very annoying, because once they find a threat, they can just keep on putting it back on top of the library. So it's very, very dangerous situation anyway. And here I'm not attacking into the Simulacrum because I don't want them to get a target for the ruins. and I also don't want them to draw a card, basically. And he had a like decision between fulminator maging the ruins or the tower. But I went for the ruins because they had a map here, so if I just went for a tower, they could have easily just put the map on top of the deck and just get the Tron back online. So I didn't see that as a winning line. And here, just again on the edge of my seat, resolving this command would have been game winning, but instead we get to play on. Luckily this Tasigur is just a house. Our graveyard was full of great cards. And now, since I got the rejection, I felt that I can safely attack with Tasigur. And the only card that I need to fear is Ulamog. And again, dispelling this thirst is an obvious play, like, I just needed to find, or stop them from finding Ulamog, because every other threat I can deal with. And here, a very funny situation. Opponent went for Dismember, and I figured I just might as well play the Remand here, because I want to turn this Remand into a card that's more proactive, especially since I already had this rejection in hand. But my opponent had f6, so we actually got to go to my turn. So here I had the window to draw counter for this Dismember. But sadly that didn't happen. But we did get an additional activation from Tasigur, which was definitely a very nice thing. I was quite happy. My opponent kind of blundered there. But of course it's very unusual that someone would remand your Dismember. Like, that never happens, right? Now this is obviously a must answer. So, what can I say? I was extremely nervous in this game, because we are basically one top deck away from winning, but they are also one top deck away from winning the game. And this Mana Leak, these cards are not too hot against the best threats of this deck. Luckily they only drew this Oblivion Stone. And this Remand is kind of nice. Remand plus Mana Leak is enough to counter the most biggest threats here. And now this Triptych again gives even more insurance. At least we are not going to die. And in this spot, even Ulamog isn't too crippling, like, just one Ulamog isn't enough to deal with my black sources, for example. So even if I had to, like, Cryptic counter draw an Ulamog, sure I would lose 2 lands, but that wouldn't be game ending. And again, nice win, I got to turn this Spell Snare. I trade the Spell Snare for Remand, which is excellent. Again, I decided to remand this map. Like, even though it's a kind of weak play, I went for it because I knew they can find the map. So I figured I need to just, once they get the academy going, yeah, they could have gone for a map and get the academy. I felt that I need to put pressure. I need to just turn the Remand into an actual card. But now, what happened? We found the command, which is my goal. I was hoping to find the command to deal with the stone, so that I could resolve the Tasigur and start beating down. So we got there, and now we are just winning. We have the Snapcaster backup. We have access to Cryptic and Protection, and we got the lethals. And opponent is going for a fake tap there to give me just send a signal. Now we have the deciding game here, and this hand is again quite nice. Yeah, obviously needed to draw lands, but that did happen, and we have some great cards here. We have Remand, very nice. We have Dispel, very nice. We have the Mage, which is excellent. But this game was quite awkward. Yeah, I figured I don't want to just run into a Connascent. I definitely value resolving a Mage and disrupting the Tron very highly. So instead I waited so that I can protect this Mage with the Dispel, and that did happen. Yeah, I was feeling quite strong. Like, if they had nothing, I could have gone for Stassiker and have this Remand as a backup. Instead, things get kind of annoying. They got the Khan in play and they decided to grind some value. So at this point, they got the Tolaria West in hand, and here we have a critical junction in this game. They have 2 Tron pieces, and they have the kind of 3 loyalty, so they have the ability to say once this field resolves and they get a second blue source, they have the ability to tick down Khan, get the Tolaria West into hand. They can use 2 islands, 1 tower, and tutor for the final Tron piece, and then have Tron. I was under again some time trouble. So I felt the pressure. I went for, in response to the field activation, I went for command, returning Mage and making them discard. Now, yeah, I had in mind that this extra mana from field would be critical, but it would allow me to play the Colagans command and keep the remand open. But this wasn't the case. I could have easily just gone for this command, with the remand backup play on their turn, and that would have been just objectively better in almost like all senses. So this was a mistake and very crucial one for me. Yeah, that's all there is to say. Like, obviously this is a tough spot, and I kind of valued getting to resolve this Mage, because this is of course a spot where I'm guaranteed to resolve this command, because with only 1 blue mana open, I could fight whatever counter they had with my own remand. And of course it was also possible that they didn't have anything. Maybe they don't have a counter here, and I just get to resolve this command for free, and then still keep this round open on their turn. But sadly, things got kind of bad for me. They had remand, which I decided to remand back to their hand. Kind of go for the risky play here, because I want to be able to disrupt the Tron on their next turn. But yeah, what happens is they resolve Wormcoil Engine. They didn't go for the Tolaria West play, instead they just ticked the Khan up again. I got to bounce the Wormcoil and destroy the Khan, but still, they had Tron. Oh sorry, they didn't have Tron, but they get to resolve this Wormcoil again. And I don't really have a game plan here, so I just try to buy some time and just deal away with these tokens, but sadly, they have this Crucible in hand, which is extremely tough, because my game plan was a very slow one. You know, having to like block this Death Touch token and then play a second Tassiger and full meta mage the Tron pieces, it is very slow. And this, especially with the Tectonic Edge in play, this whatever card is called, Crucible of Words, was going to be extremely strong for them. So yeah, I just went to fight for it, but because of this time situation, again, I forgot that they had remand in hand. So I just basically played the remand, with the Cryptic for no reason, and they went for remand on their own Crucible, getting a clean 2 for 1. Yeah, now they get to resolve the Crucible, and they have the nail in the coffin. They get to surgical my commands away, and this spell comes from the top of my deck to mock me. And so now I'm basically 0% to win here, because they do get the Tron. They will get the Tron active, and even if they don't get the Tron active, they already have so many lands in play, and the ability to return them infinitely. And here I have no answer to this Mindslaver, and they just have lethal. So this was a very unfortunate game. My hand was very strong, but things really turned out bad for me. And I think, had I played differently that one turn, I could have maybe won, because it wasn't guaranteed that my opponent would go for Khan minus on the Tolaria West. And, you know, if they weren't able to cast Remands and dig deeper into the deck, they probably wouldn't have had access to Crucible and Surgical like they did in this game, in this one turn that happened earlier. So yeah, I had the winner in for top 8. Kind of made a bad play when I was in a rough situation with the clock. So I just have to, I guess, play better next time. In any case, 5-2 gave me the top 16 spot. It was still the best performance I've had in a Modern Challenge. So not terribly sad about it, but I'm definitely hungry for more. Definitely hungry for top 8 in the future. I forgot to go over the sideboarding, so we can just yeah, just discuss it here. Again, I keep on Terminate in for the Photon Seers and Walking Ballistas, which these decks are quite likely to have usually, and obviously bringing the Fulminate Mages. But in this matchup I don't bring in the Surgicals, because this Monopoly Tron deck is less dependent on the Tron to basically... it doesn't need to get the Tron. It can still play perfectly fine against a control deck, because they do have these Remands and Condescends. So yeah, they can just play like a regular control deck basically. So playing these 0-for-1 cards can be very detrimental. I definitely value having these dispels higher. I guess that is the basically the difference. Against regular Tron, you want the Surgicals to disrupt the Tron, because once you do get there, then the deck falls apart, usually. Against Monopoly Tron, Dispel is better, because you want to guarantee you get to resolve things, and you want to fight over the Remands and Thirst for Knowledges. Quite simple, I guess. Anyway, that's all. If you have any comments on some plays I made on sideboarding, I would love to, talk over them, have some nice discussion, maybe have some learning experiences. And yeah, next time I play a challenge, hopefully I will get to stream it. I might do this kind of video in the future as well, but maybe that's not a guarantee. And definitely not too soon, because these are kind of, I guess, slightly more tiresome than actual live gameplay videos. I guess doing one of these things can't hurt, right? Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and check out my Twitch if you haven't, for giving me a follow, and hopefully I'll see you around in the chat. And yeah, thanks for watching.